the Thursday, June 21st, 2018 regular meeting of the Woodbridge Board of Finance. It is our final meeting in fiscal year 2018, and we will start with public comments, and not seeing anybody. Move on to Tony, Administrative Officer Report.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Our latest projection is for a surplus of $280,000 at the end of the fiscal year. This brings us slightly below 11.5% for our fund balance. Some changes since last month. The tax deficit and taxes went up a little to about $125,000. That's due to an assessment appeal that we had to pay back in the year, earlier in the year. Let's see. Our state aid ended with a deficit of about $157,000, which was much better than our initial $300,000 deficit. We did receive some construction reimbursement funds from 1996 of $75,000. We should have received that in 2016 because after 20 years, and that's the last payment. But their state was a little behind schedule, so we received it in 2018. Let's see. And lastly, our other revenues, we had the large deficit from surplus from Amity this year. That's got $290,000 remaining in that. The Woodbridge Board of Education is reporting a deficit currently of $120,000. That's down from about $180,000 roughly. So that's good news. Waste management is a surplus of $20,000. Both Human Services and Recreation have surplus due to staffing vacancies, and usually part-time personnel. They don't fill it when someone's out, and so it results in a surplus that's $15,000 in Human Services and $20,000 in Recreation. Finally, the Amity School District, because of the Special Education Excess Cost Grant Fund issue, has reduced its current year allocation by $239,000. Those are our highlights.
Okay. Any questions on that for Tony? No. Woodbridge Board of Ed, well, I think you kind of summarized that.
Yeah.
They were at 180, they're now at 120, which is a good thing. And I think at the Board of Selectmen, I heard Bob Gilbert say it might go up a little or down a little beyond
Right,
that.
that's correct. Yeah.
That's a good
And so
thing.
basically what will happen is then I will present a funding request. Actually, I'll probably transfer the funds from the Amity. The Amity reduced its allocation. I'll use those funds to pay the 120 for the. So basically, from one education to the other. That'll be next month.
Okay.
And also next month will be probably some funding for the fire department. We're working on that to bring that down a little, so it's not. The department can help fund some of that, and the police department will have some funding.
You said it, I think at our last meeting, that we got some insurance money on
We
that
did.
horrendous fire.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So it won't be quite as
So
bad
that's-
as we
that's
thought.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to run through the Moody's report?
Sure.
Which is a very good report. I
Yeah,
think.
we received our. Actually, I'll do that first. We received a AAA, reaffirmed our AAA rating, and so basically, if you look at the summary, and then the first page there, it says pretty much says it all. The sound financial position, stable property taxes, conservative budgeting, and formal policies and unlimited revenue raising flexibility.
Okay.
Our tax base is actually, if you look at the other AAAs, our tax base is much lower than the other AAA communities, but because we have strong resident income levels and we have low, this is one I want to point out, we have low fixed costs. So that's the part that we have control over, which is the conservative budgeting, the low fixed costs, and our increasing fund balance. Those have weighed heavily on this decision. Low fixed cost includes our debt service. We've done a good job of controlling our debt service over the past few years. Our we eliminated retiree health care for new hires, so that controlled, at least on the town side, so that controlled those fixed costs. And so those are two major ones anyway. One thing that did come up is our, I thought this was sort of interesting. If you look on the second page, look at full value per capita.
Mm-hmm.
So our per capita income has gone down. This was highlighted by Moody's actually. But our median income, it's in here somewhere, has stayed the same.
It's right underneath.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So per capita has gone down, but the median has stayed roughly the same. It went up. Yeah.
That's because Beth didn't take that raise. That's why that went down.
I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
But other than that, there were no. That was the only thing that was brought up. Factors that lead to a downgrade. This is always good to look at.
Yep.
Reduction in general fund balance.
Not gonna happen?
Because we have such a heavy reliance on property taxes, and we have our grand list is not of what other AAA towns are. Our fund balance is, and we don't have a lot of commercial.
Correct.
Our fund balance is that much more important.
Yep.
Exactly.
An substantial increase in debt burden, which hopefully won't happen.
Right.
So we can control this.
Well, that's why we keep saying about
The
debt.
fund balance,
About
the
debt.
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 Yep, those
We
two
have
things
to-
are very
We
important.
have to manage our debt.
Yep.
If we don't manage your debt and this changes the wrong way, it gets expensive, so.
Okay, the other thing I want to mention is we had a sale today, bond sale and a note sale.
Okay.
That's pro. I thought I'd bring it up. So we had 2 note sales and a bond sale. The bond sale was $2.1 million, and that's for the radio system.
Okay.
The low bid was 2.44%. So that's an excellent rate, and we actually had 7 bidders.
Okay. This is 20-year, no?
10 year.
10 year.
Yeah,
That's even better.
10 year.
Yeah.
Because that's the useful life of the radio
Of the
system,
radio
right?
system,
Yeah.
Sure.
Good point.
So we don't want to be paying this
Very
off while we
smart.
borrow for
Yeah.
another one.
Right.
So that's that. The
Good.
second is a small tax exempt note issue for the school, because we still haven't been audited by the state. So we still have to wait and see, once the state will audit, with September we get audited by the state, and then they'll finalize the state grant, and then we either need this or we don't. So that was 2.23%.
Okay.
So lastly is the taxable issue. That's for the country club. And last year, for perspective on this, last year was about 2%. So on a $4.9 million issue of 2%, this year it's at 3%.
Okay.
So taxable rates are going up, and so it's like an extra $45,000 in interest that we have to pay. Taxable rates are going up, at least currently. So hopefully we can resolve this issue this year.
Well, it would be nice. Hopefully with all this, all the good stuff that's out there in the survey and
Taxable
all,
stuff is,
people will get off their
Right.
position that they can't seem to get off of, and let's work together on
They
this.
will work
the taxable
together.
rates are going to trend
I am-
the Fed rate.
Yeah.
So as they start to increase the rate,
Yeah.
it's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm committed to make that happen.
I know you are.
hope.
I know you
You know,
That's it.
I'll need everybody's help. We're all gonna be ambassadors once we
Well,
get
we need
this.
people to,
decided.
if they really believe in what they say they believe, they gotta come out and say that,
Mhm,
so.
yeah.
Okay, item 4. It's something I wanna read into the record.
Yes, you have to vote on this.
Oh, on that?
Yeah, on item 4.
We can't.
You can't currently.
Can't, on Moody's Investor?
No, on the
Oh,
the next one. We just did the Moody's Investor.
what's the next one?
The bond?
The review, I have
The
review police salary.
Yeah, that's the thing you have to.
Oh, we have to vote on this?
Yeah, there's a motion that we like. We have to.
Oh, all right, well, we can't do it then. Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
And we can't approve the suspense list, and we can't approve funding requests, and we can't approve minutes, which leads us to first selectmen's report.
Whew, it's way down the end, sorry. Get it for you. Try to use up some time here until Tom gets here.
Yeah, talk slow.
It's okay. Sometimes I just riff, but I actually prepared it this year, this meeting. At the June 13th meeting of the Board of Selectmen, I did thank everyone on the board for working with me over the past 12 months. And I want to thank all of you as well, Sandy and Andy, who are not here, and Tom when he gets here, and Paul and Susan and Matt, for your support. hard work, friendship, and respect. Together, I think we've taken the time and thoughtfulness to listen to our townspeople and done a good job together. Just to fill you in, as mentioned, I told Matt I was gonna do this. The board is continuing to find the best location for the dog park, working with the dog park advocates and town staff. The location we think has been narrowed down to either the Alleghi property or Fitzgerald. I want to reiterate again that no town funds will be allocated for this project. The board has met with 3 groups regarding the former Country Club of Woodbridge property. If you haven't seen it in the newsletter, I've tried to put it out everywhere, but just for the TV audience one more time. Option A involves an offer to purchase approximately 10 acres to build an assisted living facility. Option B includes an offer to purchase approximately 40 acres for over 55 single-unit housing. The proposal also contemplates an 18-hole renovated golf course and clubhouse with a banquet hall and restaurant, and renovation of the pool and tennis courts for public use. Option C includes an offer to purchase a portion of the parcel to build 68 age-restricted single-family homes and a 9-hole renovated golf course with recreational spaces and approximately 2 miles of walking trails for public use and 132 age-restricted townhomes on both sides of Woodfield Road. And the board has asked me to go back, Tony and I and Jerry, to go back to all 3 entities for additional information. So we're going to talk about it again in July. We haven't gotten anything yet to really give out, but we hope to have it for the July 11th Board of Selectmen meeting. We did sign the contract for the animal shelter renovation phase 1, and thank you again to One Big Dog for the most generous donation of $100,000 to make this a reality. I signed the contract for the carport at the police station, and the Board of Selectmen had a small update from CERC regarding the scope of the project for the fiscal health analysis they're doing, and they've asked us for further input, so we're waiting for the board to get back to either me or CERC or someone on staff to put that along. We're working in collaboration with the Economic Development Commission on that. And the radio system upgrade committee is continuing their work on the project. And Susan might have more details, I don't know. I missed the last meeting. I was out of town.
I might have more details, but I don't think I do.
Okay. I sort of thought, I looked at liaison reports comes next, so I said,
Right.
Nice segue, but,
Right.
okay, anyway, thank you. So that's it.
That's it, you sure?
Yeah.
Nothing else you wanna talk about?
Nope.
Karen, did you actually speak to Tom?
No, I got an email from him.
Saying he did? Okay,
Would you like me to call him on his cell phone?
if you could.
Well, while you're doing that, I mean, and Tony remembers the dates better than I do, but we do have the civil work going out to bid on the
Yes, it
on
went
the
out
radio committee.
today. Went out today, actually.
So that's actually a big milestone.
Yeah, went out today.
And they have 3 weeks.
It's due. Yeah, it's due the 3rd week of July.
Right. Right.
We ordered some radio equipment.
Right.
We got the generators. Awarded that bid.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
So we've made some progress.
No, it's definitely progress.
Yeah.
The other liaison thing, I'm just gonna say, you already mentioned the insurance money from the fire department,
Right.
which is great. But when I attended the fire commission meeting, I know that this comes up at a number of meetings, but it really does seem to be quite dramatic, the increase in calls that the police and fire are getting. And I think there is a reckoning that's we're gonna have to really come to terms with it at some point. I asked the question whether or not we can trace it to anything in particular. That does not appear to be the case at the moment, but it's dramatic.
Yeah, the same thing
It's
came up
dramatic.
with the police commission
Right.
meetings. Is,
Right.
you know, storms, all kinds of things that are just,
Motor vehicle is way
yeah,
up.
yeah. Auto thefts, thefts out of motor vehicles. this-
Right. So, that's my whole report.
Okay. All right, let's, the other thing we can do is liaison. Amity, well, of course, as you all know, our superintendent is leaving as of next Friday. And they moved to appoint an interim. My understanding is they spoke to both Guy Stella and Mike Nast, and neither of them seemed to be interested, which was surprising because that's not what he said, but I have a feeling he might have gotten a phone call or something, I don't know. But, so they ended up getting Jim McGovern, I believe is his name. I think, who once.
It's Conley.
Jim Conley.
Jim Connolly, I'm
Conley,
sorry. I
yeah.
knew it was Jim something or other. Jim Connolly, who was formerly, he did Beach Road School
Presidential
in
candidate.
when we had a need for an interim, so I guess he decided to do it. Yeah, I was a little disappointed myself, but I'll talk to you after. Okay, as far as finance at Amity, the current stated surplus as of May 31st is $1,589,735, which includes transferring out $484,391 into that undesignated fund. So in reality, the surplus is $2,074,126, which is a lot of money. Now, you know,
We have an AED device in the hallway if you'd like me to hook you up.
the general,
Wow.
you know, the general feeling is that we're going to demand the money back, which is good for us, but it seems like every year it's getting a little bit worse, and they always have reasons, and again, the good news is that we keep a track of this on a monthly basis, so we're completely aware of it. I just sometimes wonder why and I'm sure when we get to this point, there's going to be some loud discussions about why it's this much money. So, but that 484,391, which is 1% of the budget, which they're allowed to put into an undesignated capital fund, has not been approved. So that could end up going back into the surplus also. And historically, in the month of June, it goes up. So we might even have more than that. So we're gonna have to ask a lot of questions and decide. We can only rely on them to put their budgets together. It's a big surplus though. So, but the good news is we're gonna fight to get it back. So, which will help the town certainly. Of that, by the way, 1.1 million is from the health insurance reserve surplus. So beyond that, there's another $1 million you know, they again, every month they give us a breakdown of things, you know, salaries have changed, and workers' compensation came in with a more favorable rate, and medical insurance came in more favorably by 60,000. So it's explained off as to why the numbers are better than they thought. So, but again, as I said, we're on top of this, but it is a big number. So I will keep you posted. You have anything, Paul?
Yeah, the police commission met on the 12th. As Susan indicated, there are a lot of calls. There's a great deal of work that's coming through the PD. For example, thefts out of vehicles, the murder that happened recently is impacting us, as we covered before. The storm also caused a good deal of activity that they had to respond to. So there's been a good deal of work. We're at 23 officers right now. We're looking to hire one more. So we're not at full capacity. So that's probably going to impact overtime and so on. The carport project was awarded to Total Construction Group
That's right, yeah.
company. And it's just moving right along.
What does that mean?
He's on his way. I know.
I'm sorry.
Not held up,
I'm sorry.
he's on his way.
That's okay.
Not held up, I think, like, you know, held up.
Also, the dispatch issue has come up, and it looks like our AMR contract covers part of the dispatch. I think the medical dispatch is covered by AMR, which we recently became aware of. But the fire dispatch and the police dispatch are still at issue, so we need some training and some maybe software and so on. But the software that we're looking at, this dispatch software that basically replaces what they call card sets. So if a call comes in and somebody says, look, my father's having a heart attack, the card set guides the dispatcher through the questions to ask and the things to tell the person on the other end. There's a software that the fire department has evaluated that's very expensive. So we're looking jointly at some alternatives to that. But the good news is that the medical piece of it is covered by AMR.
For how long?
For the term of the contract.
Which is, I don't know.
think.
It's up. Coming up this year, I think.
Yeah,
Then there's a 1 year extension option.
right,
Uh-huh, okay, I was just
So it
curious.
could be a
yeah.
year and a half.
I was just curious.
And I think that's it.
Well, we haven't had any problems with response times, et cetera, et cetera.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think there's some controversy, my sense is there's some
Mhm.
controversy on that.
Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, I mean, nobody's, like, there hasn't been a medical call that we didn't get there in time, or et cetera, it's just,
Well, if you go online and look at the state PSAP response time,
yeah,
I mean, there is a standard.
yeah.
And, I mean, I think you can argue that it's straightforward or not straightforward, but I think it's a complicated issue.
Okay, all right. I know you guys have been talking about this too.
That's
right?
correct. Had several meetings.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
We'll let the people who
Talking
know.
and pounding the table.
Keyword is
Yeah.
several. That's the
The
keyword
EMS
phrase.
Commission
Several
has been tracking
hundred.
AMR's response
Yeah.
to medical calls,
And they're good.
and they're very good.
Very good, yeah.
And
I don't know
they've
if our
tracked it over
conversation was useful
a
or
long
not,
period
but
of
it helped
time.
me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Do you have anything else, Susan?
I can sing.
Let's
I'm
hear it.
dance.
Let's.
Tom just texted
You're on
again
TV.
on my way.
I can
so
recite a poem.
1 minute ago. I don't know.
All
where
right,
we
well,
were,
at
so-
this point, you know what, I don't wanna come back for a meeting next week, so let's wait.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, why don't we go off the record?
We
We're
go,
on camera.
yeah.
Yeah, you can shut it down.
Now will you sing?
Right.
I guess it's just a recess, waiting for our quorum. It's a quorum recess.
So.
And,
All right, I don't know.
we're gonna go back to Item 2D, which is review FY 2018-19 police salary budget. And I'd just like to remind everybody that on April 23rd, which was our budget meeting, we voted to approve the budget presented to us by the Police Commission, which did not have funding for the lieutenant's position in their budget. There was recently an FOI decision about the meeting where they approved this, which is the reason for this. I'd like to make a motion to reaffirm that there is no funding in the FY19 budget for a lieutenant in the police department. Want to say that again?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I don't understand it.
So,
Just
well,
explain it to me.
So what happened was the police
No, I
commission.
understand what happened, but why are we
Right.
voting on this?
Because the meeting that, where the lieutenant was, the position was discussed of removing the lieutenant was.
We're just clarifying that there's no
Clarifying
money.
existing decision, because the original meeting where it was decided by the police commission
I understand,
was
so
not,
it
is
does,
now an illegal
it's not
meeting.
restoring any dollars
No,
by virtue of
you're
the
clear-
decision.
you're
I just
clarifying
wanted
that
the
there is
We're
no.
just reaffirming the fact that
There's no money
we
in the
approved the
budget.
budget where there was no money for the lieutenant.
So as I
Thank you.
understand it,
I
when we
appreciate
voted
that.
for the original budget, there was no position.
Right.
That's correct.
But then the commission met again and put the position back. But we'd
They
already
did, but,
voted
yeah.
to
Right,
not
that's correct.
fund that
That's
position.
correct,
Right.
that's correct. And the meeting where they originally voted to remove the position was lost an FOI decision.
It was the original meeting where they decided not to fund the position. They lost an FOI complaint on that meeting. So we're just reaffirming the fact that
That there's
That
no
we
money for the
voted for the
position.
original
Well, I-
budget,
Right.
which did
There's
not
no money-
include
there's no
that
money in the
position.
budget.
I
Right.
think what we're
Right.
doing is just affirming the reality.
exactly.
Correct,
Right.
that's all it is.
So in order to change that, we would have to fund that position, which we
Correct.
already voted in favor of the police
You'd have to do some
budget to not include that
Right.
position.
That's right, yeah.
post-budget.
And it was not. And it
budgeting.
was also approved at town meeting.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
Okay.
So for us to to put that back in, would we have to go back to the town?
I don't
Put
know.
that in, or
At this
would
point, I don't know. No.
You'd have to go
Because the
through
vote that was approved by the town did not include that position.
No, but you don't wanna put it back, I don't know.
Right.
No.
Okay, just,
We're not able to.
that's how I understood
No.
it. So, I mean, I seconded for the purposes of discussion, but
Yeah.
I think
That's correct,
that was how I understood it.
Yeah.
That we voted and the town voted to not put that position
Correct.
that's right.
there as suggested by the police commission.
They can
Right.
deal. They can deal with the FOI issue.
Right, that's right, yeah.
Nothing to
They'll
do
take
with
care of
us.
that. There's nothing to do with you,
I
right?
Nothing to do
think
with
it's just an affirmation of the reality of
That's
the
what it is,
situation.
that's what it is, yeah.
And we understood what we were doing.
Is what I'm hearing.
And what they presented to us.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
okay.
Next is approval of suspense list. I'll explain again what this is all about. Each year, items which have reached a certain age, and I don't know the exact age, but they must be removed from the town's balance sheet as a
Is it receivable?
uncollected
Yeah, it's an
receivable or
uncollected,
whatever.
right, yeah, right.
And they get put into suspense, which means that our tax collector still has a list of all the people who owe us money. And a lot of these, a lot of them are little ones, you know. Obviously, anything to do with real estate, there's a tax lien on the
Yes,
property.
real estate, there's a
So
tax
it's not
lien,
like,
correct.
so she continues to try and collect these. But anything that can be liened on the property is liened on the property.
Yes, correct.
So
Yeah.
if and when the property gets sold, we collect our money.
That's right.
So, I will, and again, this is by state statute.
Correct, we have to do it, yeah.
I will make a motion that we approve the suspense list before us as presented by our tax collector, Pat Crisco.
Second.
Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we have some funding requests. The first is, line item transfer 1718-20 within the fire commission, and this is to replace, 4 tires on engine 2, and as we've heard many times, they replace tires that look brand new, but they have to do it based on the age and
Yeah.
so forth.
And then they give them the public works.
That's the good news.
And then they give it to Public Works.
Right, yeah.
Public
I
Works
believe
gets
it's
to use them.
state law, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, certain age, no matter how
Right.
good the tires are. So, I'll move acceptance of line item transfer 1718-20 in the amount of $1,883.77.
Second.
Any discussion on this? All those in favor? Aye. Next is another line item transfer within the waste management budget. And this is to, it's $15,000, and this is to allow the waste management department to address the stockpile of brush in the public works yard. I can just imagine what that must be like. So I'm gonna move acceptance of line item transfer 1718-22 in the amount of $15,000.
Second.
I assume this is from all the storms,
Yeah.
Correct.
road clearance,
That's correct,
and
yeah.
everything that.
We also filed a pre-assessment form for FEMA
Uh-huh.
declaration, along
Yeah.
with, obviously, we wouldn't, it's not us that's gonna determine that, but Hamden probably is the one that got the most damage.
So
Right.
if you ever wanna see something, there's an area in Hamden
Yeah,
where they allowed everybody to, you have no idea
yeah.
how much,
I
you
passed
have no
Road
idea.
stuff?
Oh,
Is-
you have
oh,
trees
Yeah.
and, you have no
Bethany
idea.
still has stuff
So do
on
you
the
think we're
roadsides.
eligible for any FEMA money?
Well, what happens is the county gets eligible. So if the county's eligible, it's by county.
So we'll get a
based-
twig,
so
they'll get
we'll
a
get-
branch and we'll get.
Based on what I saw, the numbers are small. I mean, you don't, the amount of damage,
Yeah.
it's
It may not happen,
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
but if it does, we get a
Comparatively,
percentage of it
well.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, we
We
did.
shouldn't count on
Bethany
it
got
though.
hit
No,
hard
no,
too.
I-
Bethany, Oxford,
Bethany was
that way, and then
Beth-
right across to
Bethany's a
Hamden,
mess.
North Haven.
I mean, it's better,
Yeah.
but they
Crazy.
got hit
My
big
kids are,
time.
my grandchildren are still in school, till next Wednesday.
Because of, right, well,
Oh my
Hampton's, I
gosh.
think, still in
Till
school.
next Wednesday,
Because
yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Next is another line item transfer, within the Parks Department, to address the dead and dying trees that need to be removed at the old firehouse property. And I guess, Adam
Adam,
is
yeah.
well aware of this,
Yeah.
so I'll move acceptance of line item transfer 1718-23 in the amount of $2,800.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is another line item transfer for $5,000 in the center, and this is for replacement of the walkway and curbing in front of Town Hall, is that right?
It's right, out here.
Okay.
I noticed there's a lot of
I noticed they
chips.
tore out all the shrubs.
Thank-
Yeah, yeah.
All in favor of that, say aye. It's good.
Yeah.
Exposes the building.
Isn't it
which is good.
an interesting, lovely building?
Oh, it's so much nicer without everybody hiding
If
behind.
everything
That's what-
goes as
Right.
planned, we may have
Yeah, yeah.
some floral.
But where
Yeah.
is all
Arrangements
this
afterward.
This is
prepared?
gonna be the walkway that you walk on to get into the building. If you notice, there's like, it's all
a trip
bricks.
hazard and
There's
there's
trips that are.
cracks.
Oh, yeah, they're
bricks
kinda
that are
uneven.
And the curb is
Uneven, and they're
all
starting to
rotted.
It's not
deteriorate, and the
safe. Yeah,
curbs,
yeah,
and,
Not safe.
Yeah.
So what is it gonna be, concrete?
Yeah, it'll be a stamped concrete.
Sort of like
Similar
the
to what's over there.
walkways.
Oh, okay.
across the,
Yeah.
across the
Okay.
native.
All right, then I'll move acceptance
That'd
of
be
line
nice.
item transfer 1718-24 in the amount of $5,000. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Okay. And finally. Another line item transfer within the building officials. This is to clean up a property, I think, that's,
Correct.
that we're gonna get paid for,
We hope.
but it's, we don't.
We put a lien on the property, so, once it transfers, we should get reimbursed.
So it's like a blighted property?
Correct,
There's a few in town, I'll tell you.
yeah.
There's one over on Ansonia. The grass is growing like crazy. So,
This one is
yeah.
in need.
This is,
You just don't know. It might be,
This
somebody
is
might own it, they're just
desperate.
not cutting the grass.
This is
Yeah, this is a
desperate.
desperate
and
situation.
it's
Blighted
it's
property.
encouraging trespassing and
Really?
we gotta.
Do we
it's-
have title?
No, we have to use it.
Is it- is it-
Authority
is it-
given.
Is it abandoned? Nobody's living there?
Yes.
No one's living there, it's abandoned.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll move
Notice
acceptance of
requirements and all.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
line item transfer 1718-25 in the amount of $3,284.
Second.
Any discussion?
So who's gonna do that?
A company will come in and do it.
Pardon me?
A company comes in and does it. It's not gonna be us.
Okay, so it's
We
kind
have
of
a-
our public
Right.
works.
No, I wouldn't
Parks.
subject them to.
Okay.
Yeah, whether it's hazardous or, I don't know, so
I don't
it's
know.
better to have a company do it, it's,
Yeah.
than town employees.
Yeah.
So also, but there will be a lien on the property.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just
for that
curious, does
amount.
this also do these dollars also provide a security system?
No, it just secures it from trespass, which means you
It's locked.
border up the door, you
Right.
board up the doors,
Okay.
so people can't go in.
Gotcha.
How long has it been, dangerous?
Quite a while. I don't know the exact amount of time, but
It's not for sale or anything, or we don't know?
I don't know.
Taxes being paid on?
That's what I was saying, taxes, owed on it?
You said we have a lien.
That's for this amount,
Right.
but I don't know.
Oh.
I think they're
Maybe
being
in
paid
for-
by the
Well,
bank.
I'm sure, right, I'm sure if the
Maybe
taxes aren't
I
paid,
think they're paid by the
she
bank.
automatically puts a lien on it.
I think a bank's paying for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the owner basically went back.
Who knows?
Well, we don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Headed for the high hills. Okay, anything else? All those in favor?
Passed.
Aye,
Aye.
excuse me?
They both passed. Something that both people passed.
Oh,
They
okay,
didn't head for the hills. They
Okay. All right.
left,
okay.
permanently.
Yeah,
I believe that's
Right.
everything, so with that, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
No, yeah,
Nope.
minutes.
We have
Oh.
minutes.
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 Oh, minutes, I'm sorry. My favorite part.
You want mine?
No,
Okay.
Karen jumped all over me there.
You get away with anything, right? Just,
Okay, we have before us the minutes of the, May 21st, this is the town meeting, right? Monday?
Yeah, when we
Yep.
got up to the town meeting, that we couldn't hear one
Right,
another.
right, so I will move acceptance of the, minutes of the Monday, May 21st, 2018, meeting as presented.
Second.
Any adjustments, corrections, et cetera? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye, okay. And then, this is a special meeting we had on the 29th. And I'll move acceptance of the special meeting minutes of May 29th as presented.
Second.
That was to approve that 100,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Second.
Any discussion on these? All those in favor? Aye? Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn, is that okay?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Have a good 4th, everybody.
thank you. Stay safe.